So today is Sunday, February 2nd, and 9:48 p.m. Today's topic is scooters. My motorcycle journey started with 2016. I think I got my license around 2016. The reason I got my license actually for me, I've always been into motorsports. I was into cars for the longest time. For as long as I can remember. And then I decided to, you know, it's a progression. You start on cars, and then you start wondering. Then I started watching motorcycle racing, and then I decided, let me let me let me see what this is all about. So I remember the first motorcycle I bought was a CB 250 Nighthawk. I only got a chance to ride that for very few miles because the motorcycle had a stripped spark plug and it died on me. And I didn't know anything about motorcycles, so I didn't even I remember even with the strip spark plug, I think I couldn't get it to start for some reason, and I thought maybe the spark plug might have been the problem, and I took the spark plug out, and those spark plugs on that motorcycle had very fine threads, and the customer had stripped them. So when I tried to put it back in, I couldn't get to back in, and then I took the head apart, which was really silly of me. Now, if I look back on it, I thought I just looked for a thread chaser and cleaned up the threads, and I probably could have put spark plug back in there. So I took the head apart, tried to fix it. I couldn't get it to run again. It was a mess. I let it sit for a while. I got sick and tired of just sitting there and playing, getting. I couldn't get, I couldn't get it to start again. I think either my timing was out or something was happening. I couldn't get it to run again. So I got sick and tired of watching it sit there, and it sat there for. And then I got and so I used to go to the dealership all the time, pass by because it was on my way to work. So after, so they even got sick and tired of seeing me there because I don't know why these people who work at the dealership think that anytime you come there, you're coming to buy. Come in, you could. I mean, I could be a window shopper. He's a window shopper. Anyway, so I used to come there just, and the guys would avoid me because I wasn't buying. Eventually, one day, one time, a guy asked me, why don't you just buy something? And he asked me, just get yourself something to ride because I think I used to go there and knew I would talk to some of the salespeople. But So I bought a Ninja 300, 20. This was a 20 what? 2016. I bought a 2016. Yeah, was it a 2016? Yeah, it's a 2016 Ninja 300 new. I learned to ride on that, and decent motorcycle. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Light, easy to maneuver, very forgiving. You can crank the throttle on it. Not very, not very refined as far as it's a little bit stiff. Not it's a little bit it's not cramped. That's a good thing about it. For my height, which I'm about 5'6", whatever. For my height, is not cramped. The Does you don't have to it doesn't have any clip on, so you're not leaning too far forward. It's a little bit buzzy and has is vibey a little bit, but that's due to the high RPMs on the highway. So there is vibration coming. You do feel vibration on your fingers, especially in lower gears. If you're riding a lot, like in second or third gear, in some of those, yeah, your hands do get numb. And even on the highway, for long periods of time, your hand will get numb. But you learn little tricks on how to do that. So I used to get when I do, and on long trips, it does beat you up, but not as bad as a super sport because it's the riding position is still a little bit less aggressive. So I rode that for a while, and then what did I do? Then I rode that for a while, and then I got a dual sport because there's this guy I used to watch on YouTube, and he was in California. I think and he used to have a little DR 200. So I bought up. So I always found it interesting because his friends used to ride super sports and super bikes, and he used to ride this little DR 200 around LA. And so I got a DR 200. I rode that for a little while. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's not as powerful. It's 200 cc. Sketchy on the highway because it's so light. And then also you're going 65, which can be on some highways can be a little bit slow. But then if you stick to the right lane, I mean, it shouldn't be too. But these days you never know. With people doing 80, 85 on the highways, they'll run you over. And even then, that speedometer, I think, is probably not correct. Even when it shows 70, you're probably doing 65, depending on with me, with my weight. So, but anyway, so I got that, sold it. That's a good thing with some of those little dual sports. You can flip them. Not in the current environment we're in where nobody's buying anything. There's no money right now anyway. And people are so scared to spend money for what little they have. But so I sold that. I eventually sold my Ninja, the Ninja 300, the one I bought new. I bought another wrecked. I bought a wrecked Ninja, a 2014 Ninja 300 that was wrecked. Fixed that up and rode that for a little while, and then I rode that. I rode that for a little while, and then I acquired. In that time, I've always been interested. The Bergman 650. I remember when, like I said, this whole time in the 2000s when I used to go to dealerships. I started, I used to go to dealerships and just look at motorcycles. I remember when the Bergman 650 was new, you could buy it new at the dealership, and it was 10,000, which was a lot of money. That was a lot of money then. You talking about in the early 2000s, 2010, around that time. That's a lot of money. So I used to see it. It was always I always found it interesting. I mean, the size of it and all that. So once, so and I've always kept an eye on them. And some years ago, maybe a year or two ago, it's not that long ago, I had some money. I had worked at a job where I was doing a lot of overtime, so I had some money. So one came up for sale. Usually, when I see them come up for sale, they either the way they're too expensive. I mean, you're talking about over 5 grand, and which was above my. I didn't want to spend that kind of money, or they're too far. I mean, I saw a nice one. I saw a nice white one, but it was in Virginia, so I didn't want to. Sometimes you don't want to go all the way to Virginia just to take a look. So when one came up close by, I went to take a look at it, and so I went there, took a look at it. The guy let me ride it, which, like I said, it was a short ride. I couldn't get much out of it, and it was big and heavy. From riding a Ninja 300 to riding a Bergman is like two different. It's so the ergonomics are so different. So even riding it just for around the neighborhood, yeah, it does feel weird. But anyway, I pulled the plug. I mean, so I decided, hey, I decided for them. He was selling it for a good amount of money for the price. I bought it. I thought it was reasonable. It had 36,000 miles on it, so I bought it. And the guy actually brought it to me. He transported it to me, which was good. I mean, it was like a 30-minute ride because I was not a new bike. I was not too comfortable. I was not too comfortable riding it all the way from a 30 minutes, which is not. I mean, it's mostly highway anyway. So the guy brought it to me, and then I didn't. It had a tall windshield, which I wasn't too crazy about because I don't like seeing through the windshield. So I was thinking, I went online and I was thinking about buying another windshield, but then I was seeing the prices like a Givi windshield, how much they were. I didn't want to spend that much money. So I cut the one he gave me, and actually even people actually and I used a whiz wheel, and people actually they actually are amazed that I didn't crack it because I mean the wheels with the palm when you're cutting that kind of the windshield type material, plexiglass, it kind of burns through the material. So it's as it's cutting, it's kind of burning through it. But actually, I'm surprised. It came out decent, and I was able to. The funny thing, the piece I took off actually did crack, but the portion that I was gonna leave on the scooter did not crack, which I sanded it down. Eventually, I found out the other issue I was running into. I was running into a lot of buffeting, so I was able to get this little visor attachment that you can attach on top of the windshield, and that helped a lot. That has helped a lot. It's a Kemi model, and I've had very good. I've had very good experience with their products because I had bought a Kemimoro, something else. I had what did I do? What did I have? I have gloves. I think I had the heated gloves, and I like them. So I'm surprised. Their stuff is very good actually. It's very the quality is decent. So even that little visor was very decent. It's serving me well right now. I'm not getting any buffeting. So anyway, so I started riding the Bergman around, getting used to it. Like I said, so it's a whole there's Bergman, and what I like about it is really from me coming from a Ninja 300. First of all, I like the power. I really the power is to me is makes a I can it's noticeable, and the torque of the 650cc motor compared to my little Ninja 300, and the comfort of not it's not buzzy, so the RPMs are low. I mean, if on the highway I'm doing maybe 4,000, which is half what I was doing with the Ninja 300, which sometimes I would at 70 miles per hour would have about 8,000 RPM. So it's a much more comfortable seating position. Of course, is different. It's much more upright, and of course, no, it doesn't have a clutch, so no gear, no shifting gears. I do miss shifting the gears. I'm not crazy about the CVT. Not so much the pickup. The pickup is decent. Actually you'd be very surprised. It picks up very decently. What I'm not crazy about the CVT is coming to a stop. Is that kind of the engine brake is kind of strange where you come to a stop. When you come to a stop on a motorcycle, you can downshift and then you pull in the clutch and you kind of coast to a stop. On the Bergman, I find that I kind of it's jerky. I find like it's coming to a stop is a jerky affair, or like low speed maneuvers. Let's say like on low speed maneuvers, I find I'm talking about like low speed, like crawling speed. Let's say like on the Ninja 300, I rode it in traffic, and I could crawl and maintain my speed very. I could maintain like a very low speed, like a crawling speed, barely moving, and I was able to balance and be able to have my feet up and balance on the motorcycle. The Bergman is also a heavier motorcycle, so twice as heavy as the Ninja 300. But I find those slow speeds maneuvers are very tricky with I find them is not as smooth as with them with a motorcycle with a clutch and with a gear shifter. I'm getting better at it right now because right now I can kind of deftly. It just takes a little bit of finesse of the accelerator pedal, and then not worrying about the motorcycle you're gonna fall off also. Cause and then like I said, the weight also plays a part in it too. So coming to a stop, I still not 100%. I mean, I find like I said, the engine braking is interesting. Coming to a stop, I find that yeah, I find like yeah, it is the smoothness of it. I like the motorcycle better. This one I find that even up to today, I'm still I still I mean I come to a stop like a rookie, like somebody who's just learned how to ride. It's not as smooth as I would like. So like I said, what what did I decide? Like I said, for me it was a curiosity. Like I said, I used to see them on the sales floor. Couldn't afford it then. One came up for cheap. I decided to pull the plug on it. I bought it. I had some money, which is good. Currently, I'm trying to sell the same. I'm trying to sell my Bergman. Nobody's biting. Nobody's biting. First of all, it only appeals to a very small niche of people. I mean, they have the Bergman 400 right now, retailing at 8,000. It appeals to a very small segment of population that would find that interesting. So if I took a little, I quieted down a little bit because I thought I had something. But anyway, so it applies to a small segment of the population because in America, really, scooters are not very appealing because scooters are either they are you have the small scooters which are for people with the DMV with the drinking and driving issues, and the Chinese have cornered that market, so they're mostly cheaply made. Even though they're interesting because like you can scooter the genuine the genuine scooter company still makes the two strokes. So that's interesting also because of you can still get a two stroke in that sense, which I'd like to mess around with a two stroke, just opening it up and all that. But anyway, so and then you have the coming up, you have some of the other ones like you have the Hondas and the Yamaha. You got the Zumo, or the I guess that's how you pronounce it, Zumo. You got the you got the Honda Metropolitan. That's a 50cc. That's also you see those a lot with people who ride with RVs because it's Honda quality. You have the Kumco. Kumco also has the 150s, and the 150s you can really use them in a lot of. They can go up to 50, 60 miles, 50, maybe 50, 60, maybe 60, depending on the weight of the rider. So you have that type, and then you have the X Max, which is a 300. Which actually right now, if I was to buy a new scooter out, that's the one I would buy because really you have no other choice. Maybe you have I think Honda does have the ADV 160. They don't bring the big ADVs to America because, like I said, there's no market for them here. Because even Honda has the ADV 750 in other parts of the world. Well, what's the point of bringing that here? That thing retails maybe for 16 grand. You're not gonna sell. I mean, I'm exaggerating maybe, but I know it's a lot of money. So yeah, even the X Max, the big one, they don't bring that here. What for? It's like that motorcycle is like 13, 14 grand, even 13, 14 pounds. You bring it to the US is 16. How many people are gonna buy a scooter for 16,000? You sell maybe two in a whole year, or maybe you sell maybe. I'm exaggerating. I mean, of course, it's not gonna be two, but you sell them, and even then, it has to be particular type of states, like you probably California, some places in New York. But anyway, so like I said, my journey with the scooting, and like I said, the good thing with me, the reason I can say my journey with the reason it has progressed to this point. Also, the thing with me, I really have because I tend to keep to myself. I'm a loner. So the thing that actually has really the reason the one of the reasons my journey has progressed to now where I ride scooters is because I was really never influenced with other people. Because I remember even when I started motorcycles, my first motorcycle. I had a neighbor who told me that don't buy anything big, anything smaller than a 600. He was telling me even women don't ride even women don't ride 250s no more. And this perception of you get tired of a motorcycle, to me, I think it's played out. And thank God the motorcycle manufacturers are quickly learning that they've got a huge segment of the population. They not a huge. They got a segment of the population that wants something smaller, lighter, especially ladies, shorter ladies, that kind of thing. Because I think it's overdone. Other places like a Ninja 300, really, you can ride a Ninja 300 your whole life. And like I said, other than the slightly cramped ergonomics, and also beating you up on the highway, like I've done long distance on a Ninja 300, and it does beat you up. Other than that, really, that motorcycle really serves 90% of the purposes anybody can have here in the US. But like I said, advertising has a place in the world, has a place in the world, and also we live in a consumer society. So like I said, for me, so I've progressed to the point where really I don't care. I don't care about what people think. I remember one time I went to a dealership and there was a girl there, and she said she was making a joke she would never date anybody on a scooter. I really don't care. I mean, I don't care really. I mean, right now, and that's a good thing when you get to your 40s. R1s, uh, I mean, the 1000s really. The one bike I would buy like a 1000. I buy the CB. What's that Honda? The retro, the CB 110, 100. Sorry, the CB 100. I would buy that. Empty, new bike right now on the showroom floor. M- MT10. I would buy the MT10. That's to me. I rode that on a Yamaha demo days. I like that one. I would ride the Ninja. Actually, Bike I would go for is a Ninja 1000. If I had the money with the factory boxes, yeah, the Ninja 1000 I would do that. But really, I have no incentive. I have no really. I don't have the money. Let's put it that way. Let's say the truth. I don't have that, and I have no incentive of buying a new bike. I really don't care. I can. I know I have my scooter right now for sale, but I've priced it. I've priced it so high that I know nobody's gonna buy it. Or if maybe I might get that one particular person who wants to buy it, then that's fine. Other than that, no, really, I'll keep it. I mean, like I say, other than the weight, preferably I would prefer the 400 because of the lighter weight. Other than the weight, really nothing. It doesn't. It just does everything right. I'm having an issue where I feel like the rear brake is grabbing. I don't know whether I have a warped rotor or my emergency brake is still grabbing a little bit because I'm finding that when I'm maneuvering it a lows, when I'm moving it around, like pushing it around, I find like it's dragging. And even I had one of the had a customer who came to look at it and he wanted to buy it, took it for a test drive, and he mentioned something like that. And I can hear it I can hear it and I can feel it when I'm trying to actually move the motorcycle around when it's not running. So other than the weight, really, I've no other than the weight, really, there's nothing that the that's one of the negatives I find with the 650 is the weight. So thinking back now, I think I would get the 400 Bergman before I got the before the 650 or the X Max Yamaha the 500. I would get that because you can even get a lot more aftermarket. Remember there was that Revzilla um, Revzilla program where they actually raced. They took one of them to the racetrack, and they got a big ball kit. So you can. So that's the thing. The X Max is known. Even in Europe, they go crazy about those things, especially the France and all those. I remember even watching a little Netflix film, and it was a saki. It wasn't that good about X Max. Something was a group of thieves riding X Maxes. It's amazing how people. So it's got its whole community over there in Europe. But like I said, for me, I don't mind riding a scooter. I mean, to me, like I said, I'm not trying to impress anyone. My motorcycle journey has progressed to this point in this point right now where I really don't care. I do stuff for me. If other people, I still I like the new stuff. I like reading about the technology, but really I have no incentive. Actually, I want to go older. Actually, ideally, I want to get a two-stroke street bike and ride a two-stroke bike on the. That would be my ideal. If I could get something like an older two-stroke that I can actually fix up and ride. But the problem is that the ones that are rideable are expensive. The ones that are affordable are beat up, and then also getting parts. That's also the tricky part. Like also, I used to see them with these little two-stroke little dual sports from the 70s and 80s. You could get them for cheap some years ago, but now their values have gone up slightly because even the mini bikes, forget about it. You see them on Bring a Trailer. So they're fetching 3, 4, 5 grand or even more in some cases. So those ones are becoming hard to find. And so yeah, so there's some other bikes like in the like maybe in this around the 70s, 80s, little dual sports with which had like about 100 cc capacity, 120, 110. It's two strokes either from mostly Yamahas I see. There's some Suzuki's, but mostly Yamahas. So those are something to that would be supposed to be something to think about. But ideally, I'd like to get like a two-stroke, like a 252 stroke. I saw a guy was selling a Suzuki GT 250, but he didn't have a title, and he said it ran, but it was some things were missing, some parts were missing. But if you put in the time and you dedicate yourself, you can get that. You can source some parts, or if you're handy, you can even, if depending how handy you are, you can even make a few things for yourself. But like I said, so that's my scooter journey, how it has progressed. We're to the point right now. I could ride anything. I could ride a Royal Enfield. I could ride anything. The BMW. I can ride a BMW. I can ride the GS 1300 if I would I buy one? No. Would I buy too tall for me? But whatever. But like I said, right now I could really. I'm not particular about any brand really. I still have. I don't have any brand preferences. I mean, I've had a Honda, I've had a Kawasaki, I've had a Suzuki. I think the only one I haven't had is a Yamaha. And really, I don't. I prefer Japanese bikes, the European bikes. First of all, the entry level is too expensive for me. Maintenance is too expensive. I mean, I have a buddy who has a Ducati, and just the big when he gets to the big service, 20,000 miles, we're checking the valves. I think it's like what, a couple of $1,000 service. Come on, I could buy myself a motorcycle with the kind of the service, just the service alone. That service is like 2 grand. I could get myself a motorcycle for that kind of money. So I prefer Japanese, easier to work on, parts are available. Really, and like I said, I don't have really any preference as far as the Japanese are concerned. I seem to have I seem to have had a few Suzuki's in my time. I like Suzuki's. I like this. I also like the underdog compared to the other two. Suzuki is a smaller manufacturer when it comes to motorcycles, so that appeals to me a little bit. But like I said, anyway, that's my journey, and that's how I came to riding. I came to riding scooters, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, cheerio, ride what makes you happy. Really, like I said, ride what makes you happy. Don't like I said, if you like 1,000, say go for it. Whatever. Like I said, don't let people. If you like, wanna buy like a Z400 or a Ninja 400 or a Ninja 500, don't let people discourage you and tell you you're gonna get sick and tired of it in what 6 months. Maybe it's true, but depending on what kind of rider you are, you can ride a Ninja 300, Ninja 300, Ninja 400, Ninja 500 your whole life, and you still are gonna enjoy it. So, like I said, ride, ride, listen to other people, but ultimately it's you who's gonna buy it. It's you who's gonna enjoy it. So ride what makes you happy. Anyway, cheerio. Catch you on the next one. Later.